All right, shall we move on? How's everybody doing? Welcome to Did the Great Days Eternity stream? All right, so we've come far in this game, and we're moving on with episode 4, the Twisted Karma and his last bow or bow, because he's running out of bows and arrows, so he just has one left. Who knows? Either way, how's everybody doing tonight? How's the audio? Audio a-okay before we move on? I am happy today for once in my life. I'm just joking though about that. Mostly because I finally found Baja Blast in stores and I can finally drink this stuff again and only drink this stuff and only live on this stuff and only survive in this stuff until my blood is replaced with Baja Blast. It'll be called Bloody Blast. In my blood, in my veins. Let's do it. Here we go. Episode 4. Twisted Karma and his last bow.
Pipe in hand.
Hopefully that audio's a-okay.
The thick rolling
Let's listen.
outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement.
I'm happy to drink this
A
again.
hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night.
What's up, Soul? Who's Nicob?
And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town.
I just wonder, chat, like how much
There is
longer
naturally
until I become
always another side to
visual
every case,
novel
of
streamer?
which most remain
All I
ignorant.
play are just visual novels.
And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime.
Not Nicob. Oh man,
So quickly now.
do
take
people
your
really
hat
want to see me
and
play
let's be on our
DDLC?
way, my dear fellow.
Should I play Doki
For
Doki Lit
our
Club?
adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
If you really want me to, I'll consider it. Maybe in October. Maybe you'll be the spooky game. I mean, I've heard that game does get spooky. I don't know how spooky, but it does. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Kazuma regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Oh yeah, last case ended crazy. But now we are in a hotel. The Waterloo. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father... Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer, the professor, you mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then. By the way, how's the chat doing so far? Everybody doing good today? Doesn't know about Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. Yeah, there she is! Oh. I noticed the guy in the wait, is that the judge on the Judge? Is that the judge in the... My goodness, they got some good drip going on. Oh, father. Hello, Susato, how are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. Holy flip, Judgy Udgy. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. You picked up 3 hopes in Sonic Origins. Plus you got Sonic Mania, which actually came bundled with Team Sonic Racing, so wow. Got a lot of games there, Sabi. Is this all part of your stream extravaganza? But yeah, I hope that 3 hopes plays very well. I still gotta get through 3 houses, which I plan to play soon, so I don't know how soon, but soon. Also, I hope Sonic Origins is good. If it's good, maybe I'll pick it up in the future. Maybe, we'll see. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. You never heard of Sonic Origins? Sonic Origins just released. It's basically Sega re-releasing, you know, Sonic 1 through 3 on modern consoles with some new updates. Some I've heard are not that good. I don't know, it's Sega being Sega. And CD, that's what it is. If you like Sonic, go for it, but I've heard they changed some of the music, especially since Sonic 3 had the Michael Jackson tracks and Sega couldn't get those, so they had to like redo their things. Yeah, Knuckles is included. I think you can play as Knuckles and Tails in 1, 2, and 3 and CD, I believe. Or just the first few. I don't know much about Origins. All I know is some things about Origins. What was another thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, CV, what kind of games did you plan on streaming though? If you're gonna become a streamer, what games are you streaming? Is it mostly just Miku Hatsune? No, Hatsune Miku, I got the name mixed around. Hatsune Miku! I'm so happy this came out. Baja Blast is such a treat to drink every time. I'm so freaking happy. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. Not Splatoon 3? Wait, what do you mean Splatoon 3? What's Splatoon 3? In that case, how about a little reminder, Seshiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. Ah! He brought the bonkin hammer! He's brought the bonkin! I hereby pronounce the defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo guilty! You know what would be funny if they actually just brought out the guilty letters? G-U-I-L-T-Y! I know how to spell. Minecraft for one, rhythm games, and shiny hunting on occasion? Oh, alright, Savvy. So, are you trying to do something differently than me? You're not copying me, right? I'm not gonna see you in a axolotl suit, and then you'll be known as CBs by night, and then I'm gonna be like, how did CB get way more popular than me? I knew I should have been an axolotl. I should have been the axolotl, not a sloth. Ah. Oh! You're... Hold on, it takes me a while to process the memory. It's Judgy Udgy. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. My goodness. Your Excellency! Why was he in his England outfit? I don't know, Savvy. The time travel is the memories are a weird thing. That was a flashback, and I still have the same outfit I've been wearing in England. It's funny, I know. Hello, Judge Shigoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good, you remembered now. That really did the trick. Yeah, there's one thing that Naruhodo and Phoenix Wright have in common. They have really weird memories. Remember, in Justice for All, Phoenix got a freaking concussion from a fire extinguisher. And his head has never been the same since. Guilty! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seshiro? What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course, Judge Jigoku. He must complete the set. He's the elder man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. By the way, chat, I got a question. What if I came in wearing that kind of hat, if I streamed with that kind of hat, would I look good? Or would I look cringy? I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Sheshiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on the study tour. Guilty as charged! Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. I mean, how can a guy like him keep up a beard like that? You see, like, the beard behind and in front's like beard strips. If I take off a strip of beard, would that hurt? Or would it look weird if I took off a strip of beard? Ah, yes now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? Ah, we can converse with the two men. His beard is the same as those Take One paper strips. Oh no. Ah! So how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time, we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Seshiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself? Yeah, ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugene. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. But yeah, Chad, one thing though, did you know that the Steam Summer Sale just started about yesterday? Did anybody get any good games yet? Or thinking about any games? Because I saw some games that were recommended to me. So remember when we talked about Peggle and whatnot? So Peggle, Balloons. I've heard about this game called Rhythm Doctor that I should check out. Maybe that could be one of the games I could play. It's a rhythm game. People love seeing me play rhythm games, so Rhythm Doctor. There was that Peglin game, that Peggle RPG game, but I can't spend too much money. I can't even buy Rhythm Doctor at this point, so it's like the sale will go on until July, so hopefully I do come into some money soon so I can actually get these games and stream them before the sale is over. But if not, then I guess Peggle's all I'm getting. The Miku game's on Steam now. That's the thing, I don't know if I can stream the Miku games, can I? Because it's all copyrighted music, isn't it? It's all copyrighted, isn't it? I remember I tried playing that Miku 3DS, the Hatsune Miku game on 3DS, back when it was a demo, and it got copyrighted. So, fun fact, there was a Hatsune Miku 3DS demo video that I did years ago. But it got copyrighted and that video never came out. I don't know what happened to it. Is it still somewhere? I don't know if I still have it. But if I ever do find it, maybe I'll give it another shot. A video from the past. But it was years ago. The Professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? Put it on what? You know what? Stop it, Pixel Dog. Get some help. That's right. Genshin Impact. Genshin Asogi. Genshin? You knew, I presume, father? Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. Ugh. However, I suspect he may have his doubts. Oh, why? As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. I mean, CB, it's understandable that German played it, but still that game costs a lot of money. Like, you're talking about the newest Hatsune Miku game, right? That, how much does it cost? Let me do a check. I'm sorry, I can't talk really well today. Let's see. Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix. Wow, 31.51. That's a weird price. But if I want to get the VIP edition with all the DLC, that's $45. What the heck? Why is the game so pricey? Oh, but Hatsune Miku does look beautiful though. She does the heart thing. I can do the heart thing when I play too. And she's pointing. And she's with the gang. Who the heck are these people? There's so many characters in the Hatsune Miku fandom. Not 39.39. I could play Just Stace instead. Oh yes, I love Just Stace. Why they changed the price? I mean, it's cheaper now because of the Steam sale. There's a Steam summer sale going on. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma has since turned up here in London working as the apprentice of Lord Von Zeeks. What? What? That's news to us. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. Now that's getting weird. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die, he's alive. As you knew, didn't you, father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive? And here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. But yeah, don't forget, I freaking called it. I called it earlier. I freaking called all that. I called it, took it, said it, ate it, died. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? Is he still at the prosecutor's office, or what exactly? That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yujin here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original 3. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were now what they are today. I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Huh, old people. Oh, my hip. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yuma University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. No more talk of graves, please. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was? He was a good man. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing. I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Man. Wow. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Whoa, she dipped. Susato-san's gone off on a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course, it must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. By the way, since we're in a hotel, are we gonna meet April May's ancestor? June, July? I don't know, what would April May's ancestor be? Would it be another April May, just a little older, but still, all that stuff? Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life too. Oh yeah, Susato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seshiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany to London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took so long. Who the flip is this? Miss Susato. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. He's drinking. That better be fruit punch in that flask. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. That's Beppo's boss? Beppo. Hold on. I need to find out who Beppo is in Great Ace Attorney again, because... Who is Beppo again? Oh, the carriage driver. Oh, you're right. Gotcha. The thing is, the reason why I got confused on who Beppo is because there's a character in One Piece also called Beppo, but Beppo is more of a bear. There's another Beppo that I know, so I got confused by two Beppos, man or bear, but I had to figure out who the man was and the bear who... Yeah, there's two Beppos that I know. It's really weird that I know a second Beppo. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course. Aww. Oh, that's sweet, but why was I so stiff like a board? I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then, but we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? Oh yeah, you're right, they took off their England clothes and put on their... they changed really quickly for the photo. No, they put a filter on. No England filter, that's what it was. They changed for the filter. They had filters back in the past. I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Hey Rocky, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. That was the guildmaster of the horse-controlling omnibus people? That's a funny way of putting it, though. So they wore English clothes for the flashbacks and wore Japanese clothes for the photo. It is funny that they allow you to change clothes, but the models stay the same while the pictures are changed. But yeah, apparently that's Beppo. But like I said, I got confused by the other Beppo. So here, let me show you the other Beppo though. This is Beppo from One Piece. This is the one I got confused by because when you said Beppo, this was the only Beppo that I know. So I'll just show it really quick though. And this is the Beppo that I know. This is Beppo from One Piece. Not to be confused by Beppo the Mando. Huge difference. But when you said Beppo, that's what I got. Alright, let's go. I'm really curious to see how this case goes. That is a literal bear. That is a One Piece character. So, wait, you're saying that's a literal bear when one of the crew members is Chopper, a flippin' reindeer? I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. A horse-drawn carriage, yeah, that's what it was. Let's go check around here. I wonder if we can find any cool things. That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh, so do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there? Why is it doing a crane kick? Why aren't you doing a crane kick? Yes, I'm sure it must be. I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. True, London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Now today, that's New York City. Don't ever live there. If you want to see expensive, try going, yeah, just go to New York City for a day, have fun there. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that. Ah, it's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room? It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I try to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, the thing is, I know that chandeliers look nice, but I don't want one. I don't want one coming down and then all the gems in the world come crashing to the floor. And then I gotta find a way to sell all those gems. Look at those cases just left there in that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am. Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. Ah, so it's a trap designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose? Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes. I'm not wearing jet black clothes. Not everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. I mean, how is he acting sus of me? He's the one drinking on the job. He's actually drinking on the job. But I'm pretty sure there's no issue with that. Look at that, it's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at UMA University. The attendant there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Did you know that over the channel in Paris, there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? What? How many times taller than the chimney at UMA Soaking Hot Springs is that? And if it's that tall, how does it draw properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo. Not everything tall is a chimney, Naruhodo. He's got a way with things, doesn't he? Alright, let's see what's up next. Let's go to the justice office. I want to see the doves flying in the background again. Oh. Now, who are these two gentlemen over here? Oh, we're getting close to Christmas. Oh man, if we get to Christmas again, will we get to the whole point about almost Christmas does not mean it's Christmas? If we ever get to Christmas in this game. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work, thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Von Zieks doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. Or do we? Oh, we've been noticed. My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. Once again, we're not wearing black. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord, I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Open up all the windows, break all the glass, get the air inside. Now that I would like to see. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Von Zieks. I will attend at once. He's staring at me. He's staring at me. And then I stare at him. And then he's looking at me. And I'm looking back at him. And that's all I can say, because any more I can say would be pretty much really sus. He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand in many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Sif. Of course. Dang, I take that literally. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Sif's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Mans really thought we were talking about actual hands. I know, you gotta love Naruhodo, don't you? Just gotta love him. Lord Von Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though, disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh, missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? Might as well chat and find out. The symposium. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million? 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations! The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark forensic symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Oh yeah, the team. I first established a forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Sif at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement, buying many scalpels. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep the story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. And I helped. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what would have happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. The missing apprentice. About Lord Von Zieks' apprentice. Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Von Zieks in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my, so he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Von Zieks. That way I can keep an eye on him. But then why the mask? Fashion? I didn't want to burden Lord Von Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Von Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asogi. Do you know how hard it is to not say Genshin Impact though? Like for a couple of times now, I almost kept saying Genshin Impact. Every time they bring up Genshin, it's like the second word is Impact, not Asogi. What's an Asogi? Is that a thing you eat? What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... Ah yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. They were such awful murders and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. The Hound of the Bat... And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country... The Hound of the Basketballs? Oh man, not the Hound of the Basketballs. We've gone High School Musical up in this beach. Wow, who plays basketball at the beach anyway? Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. Biscuit. The main motivation was to avoid abrogating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent case. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were blood in the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? Murder is murder. Who accepts murder? Who's like, yay, murder? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. I believe that's all for now, Lord Strongheart. Ooh, Iris has tea for us. Let's go get tea with Edis. I like to get tea with Edis. I love tea. Wait. Why is that there? How do you pronounce all those accents? What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think? Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? No, we're not doing Peach crying. Enough with the... Oh no. If I ever get to Bowser's Inside Story, and if I hear Peach crying one more time, I will break a piece of paper. Oh my, I do hope not. I don't do it anymore. What the heck are these characters? Mon ami, mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display. Oh. Who are these? Hello, who are these people? Look, dude, their hair is bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Gina! Right, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clink. No, not in prison, it's dark and damp and I don't like it. Why is he speaking in, why is this person speaking in Mario? Boff, the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared. But you're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this, I don't like it. Well, tough, we'll finish this down the yard. Now get moving. Oh. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Petition to have Peach crying as a redeemable channel point sound effect. Do you know how many people would spam that? I don't want to hear that anymore. It will literally drive me insane. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. That was interesting. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Runo. Hello, Iris. Hello, Iris. We're home. Make it 100k to make her. Oh my goodness, why? 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 That's all I gotta ask. Why? Why the heck do I gotta do that? Why the heck is my freaking sloth head not staying up straight? I wanted to stay up straight so I look good. I want to look good for the stream. Why is it so hard to look good for a stream? Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Ah, yes, of course. Dr. John H. Wilson. So Iris, all that remains now is the greatest of problems known to man. The nice hair job? But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? I'm shocked too. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face, as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today? In that case, let us sit and drink now, for I'm in fact expecting a guest later today. Can we just talk about that? Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions? Ah, Blazing Ice, how do you do? Welcome to the stream. A toast. I'm so happy this is in the stores now. I need to stock up on this bad. The taste is so good. But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I'll shoot them. Soul is bad? I mean back? Should have just said I'm bad, like, okay. I'm bad. I'm bad. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consumately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. That's not a D? I know, but when you put the C and the L together, you get a D. So when I looked at it, I'm like, what if I just made that C and L into a D if you put them close together? Well, like when you squint your eyes, it looks like a D. Ah, I have it. A bungler. That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads have been up to no good. Not a bunger. I wonder what the men did. By the way, I gotta play that DLC for Bugsnackies one of these days. Like I said, the list of games I gotta play is growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I can only stream so much a week. The greatest problem? What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, Mr. Charlie Darwin? We humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. And why not sloths? I believe it more if we were sloths, come on. Wait, what? We were apes? Apes ape together strong. Diamond hands to the moon! Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? His name is Carwin Rawrin Darwin. Oh, I think he's a man that loves to say roar a lot. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, isn't that obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent! Well, ever since that fish came onto land and now we gotta pay rent, like, what is with that fish's problem? What is that fish's problem, though? That fish comes onto land, walks on feet, and then we gotta pay rent. Evolution sucks. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tusspells only the other day? A large sum. 1 potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure. A new motor car. You gave her a potted herb and you bought yourself a car. Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. Don't tell me, let me see. Humans are sorry creatures unable to see what it is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end? It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. The lie? Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us... I don't want to lick his hair, thank you very much. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. I think he dyed it with blood. I think that's actually the blood of his victims. The blood of Sholmes' victims. That's why it's all red. It's actually blood, not hair dye. Does hair dye even exist back then? Pretty sure it's just blood. Or he painted it some way. That case aboard the SS Burya in January, Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So, what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew, but how? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. What the heck? Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What event? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. This is getting kinda crazy now. But why always hide the info until the end though? Why not just tell us? The mask Kazuma wore when he was assigned to Lord Von Zieks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? I mean, true. Let's see, anything else that we haven't checked out yet, though? Everything else looks the same. But can we please talk about your red hair, though? Or can we? Let's go back up to the attic. You know what? I think we can put a chandelier up here. Yeah, nice place for a chandelier. Oh, I guess there's not much to do here then. Oh, we haven't asked everything we need. I got you now, so there's more to ask. But is there something we're supposed to check out? The newspaper? This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red ink there? It's in an advertisement column. It says, to the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... Oh. Is something on my face? Susato is hard staring at that red hair right there. I don't know. What do you think about his red hair, though? It looks really weird in red. Clearly, this has something to do with that. Lively hair. Cool. It seems somewhat suspicious in nature. Alright, cool. I think we got what we need. Let's present him with the Red-Headed League. Wait. On account of the bequest of the late Ezekiah Hopkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, there is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the League to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the large park on Lime Street. You get £4 a week if you're a redhead. Wait, what am I doing? Maybe I should be a redhead. Here I go. What's going on, Jamal? Popo, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. I'm thinking about becoming a redhead. Do people agree with that? Let's try to work that. Let's become a redhead right now. Can I do that right now? Let's see. Let's try to become a redhead. That's not redhead. That's more red. Oh, dang, that's bright. Holy flip. I just became... How red can I be? Let's make myself so red, though. How red can I be? I'm just a little... It's so freaking bright. It's so... That was a lot. That was a lot right there. I literally became a green screen at that point. Oh my goodness, my eyes were hurting from that. I'm definitely above the age of 21. Thanks, Shamal. Thanks for making me feel old. I can't wait to be over the age of 30 and then 40, and then that's it. I'll stop aging then. I'll stop aging forever. Forever. Do it again, I wasn't looking. Sorry, Blazing Ice, it's gone for good. It looks as though someone circled an ad in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. 40 is the age cap. I believe it. 40 is the age cap. Once you get to 40, that's it. You stop aging. I found the secret to life. 40. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, in quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that here with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? How did you do it though? How do you dye your eyebrows so well? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the ad you circled? You noticed it in the paper then. That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the ad, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week? Can you imagine me getting $4 a week, chat? Do you know how great would that be? I can buy myself almost a meal, I guess. What can you buy with $4 a week now? But hold on, this is £4, right? So I'm gonna do this real quick. So £4 to USD, that is about $5 right there. So, and this was back then. If due to inflation, that would probably be about 20 or so, I think. I don't know how many years ago, but is there like an inflation calculator? Oh, there we go. So, all right, let's say if in for example, the website gave me, if in 1913, if I got $5, then in this year, wow. Holy flip. So let's say in 1930, this was 1913, and $5 back then, that would be $150 today, basically. It'd be $150 a week at this point, due to inflation, if you had this $5 like 100 years ago. But I'm pretty sure this takes place like in like the late 1800s or something like that. So pretty much you get a lot more. It's basically unemployment at this point. But man, if I had that kind of money, you know what I would do? I will live. But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the ad. But surely every red-headed person in the country will be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance. That might be stretching a point, I think. Imagine the next day in court, we all got red hair. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. But wait, how does that work? Wouldn't you technically have the same amount of money? Or would they just give you extra money? Are you talking about inflation, basically? Like, if you have $5 back then and it's worth more today? It's more... I think there's like a conversion, basically. There's like a place you go to where you can convert your old money to new money, basically. Otherwise, like, if you show them like this $5 bill that's definitely olden back then, you can exchange it for more money. Or give it to a collector and you'll get more. There are people who collect all kinds of money. Imagine dating somebody, you go to their basement and it's just a bunch of old dollar bills and you'd be like, oh, this is worth millions of dollars. And then the next hour you steal all the money and then leave your date forever. It's like, that's how it works. If you want to get rich, do that. Do what I said. Don't do what I say. Don't do that. You will get arrested. Stop it. So you decided to try and join in this place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo. Though it pains me to admit it. Alright, what's the blunder? What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. Oh wait, Savvy. There's another way, basically. The reason why $5 back then and you still have $5 today would be a whole different story. It's just that back then, $5 was worth a lot more because things were cheaper back then. But then due to inflation today, if you were paid that $5, then instead of that, you'd be paid $150. It's basically those people who say, oh, back in my day, college was like cheap and sodas were like 5 cents. But if you put that to inflation, then the sodas would be much more today than 5 cents back then. It's all because of inflation. So basically, things were cheaper back then, but due to inflation, things are more expensive today. So $5 back then was worth more than $5 today. So, you know, when people, because you know how, like, for example, there are colleges out there that cost like $60,000 a year, right? But back then, it was only like a couple of grand, probably like $1,000. Because money was not crazy expensive as it is today. Inflation sucks. That's all I can say. Inflation sucks. So even if it seems like it's $5 back then and $5 today, $5 was worth way more back then. I hope that is understandable in a way. Inflation just sucks. Inflation just sucks. Inflation just sucks. Inflation just sucks. I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dye nor hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. We need deflation? Yeah, sadly that won't happen anytime soon. Sorry about that, I had to bring my fan over here. It's getting a bit hot. I wonder why. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair a flame-like red. And then it bursts into flames. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. Every hair, you say? What am I looking at? I'm looking through my shirt. I'm not looking through my shirt. I'm looking through my freaking skin. I mean, I can try the red thing again. I mean, if it makes all my hair perfectly crimson, we can just try that again. I'm sure people will love to see that again. Where everything just turns very red. There we go, perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. Well, Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say... But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to little danger. Oh yeah, I'm the virtual boy, the virtual sloth. This is what I look like if I were on the virtual boy. It's painful. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his brand new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? Yeah, I wonder, what did go wrong, Mr. Sholmes? I don't like this filter at all, ew. The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a coaster's orange barrel. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. He waited 8 hours. Then this morning when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police. Oh. So, he put 2 innocents in jail, basically? Is that what just happened? 2 innocent people were just sent to jail right there. Oh dear, what a disaster for Hurley and those two redheads. Wow. Imagine waiting in line for 8 hours only to be rejected in a weird way, basically. Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley. Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept my case no matter how unstimulating, save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. Mr. Sholmes, Herlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Wasn't she on the panel? She was on the panel, right? Please find my husband, he's run away. Oh, to upset me? I beg your pardon? Never mind, a personal matter, my apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word. Oh, the jury, yeah, not the panel, jury. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, please. Of course. What's the matter, Mr. Sato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently. Yes, now you come to mention it. Evie, or Evi. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Visual. Evie Visual. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object, simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also. If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me? What am I about to tell you I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand? Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Are you joking me? After all that, it's just... He's hard of hearing. My friend is not good with voices. With sound. Forgive me for asking this, Mrs. Visual, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my. Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, oh golly, oh gosh, this is about to be an immaculate dinner. It sends shivers down my spine. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. Jamal, enough with that. I know she said nice young lawyer. This is not where things are going. This is not that kind of game. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more. Now look what you started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. What about Mr. Visual? Tell us about your husband, madam. Mr. Visual, my daily is 40 years of age. You see, 40 years old! The age limit! We reached it! I have a photograph here. That's a 40-year-old man. An entirely remarkable gentleman by appearance, at least. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things. My head is not in a gutter, thank you very much. My head is out and free from a gutter, so it wouldn't be in the gutter. Oh gosh. Your dress is the latest style. Your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. Not like mine, mines are dead. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. Oh boy, prison stuff. So, your husband is a prison warder. That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. Oh. It's good to see from Ryunosuke appreciation. So many characters give him crap. The same happened to Phoenix Wright, though. Apparently, the lineage of Phoenix Wright's lineage, they treat the characters not that well. I.e., for example, all the protagonists from the Phoenix Wright series. Indeed, I see. Well, Chief Prison Warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Dreadful punishments? Oh, hold on, I just saw this weird thing that I just saw right now. So, hold on, I'll share this with you real quick, chat. So, apparently, I just saw this post where there's a Pokemon card tournament, right? Like, there's a Pokemon tournament, and yet someone came in with a 60-card deck of jumbo cards, which are novelty cards, and it's legal because the rules do not specify the size of the cards. So someone's in a tournament playing with gigantic Pokemon cards. That is ridiculously hilarious right there. And something I probably would have done, but how do you play? Like, are there even enough cards to help you with jumbo cards? There's not that many good jumbo cards to use. Ah, well. Dreadful punishments. Does she mean capital punishments? And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really, Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. No. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. Try not to laugh challenge. Here we go. It was yesterday. I'm sorry, yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever couldn't have happened? My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put this sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. And also another thing. Rent and landlords. Arrgh. Rent. That's all they want. Rent. Why is the rent so expensive? It makes me so angry. Who the heck is calling me? Who the flip is calling? There's all these freaking same spammy numbers. Ugh, I hate it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the info I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure. He's gonna be dead, isn't he? So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Or my possession. He has no particularly distinctive facial features. Wow, so he's a plain man. Very plain indeed. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door. And your money. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. She was a ghost. You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent! And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Oh boy, him again. Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison, so it was renowned among students at the university for being haunted by the ghost of condemned convicts. Can't believe you mentioned that. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incinerated. The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? I didn't mention Among Us, that was that guy. It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen with this hair. That's his reason. Put on a hat. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Toodaloo. Of course you are. Don't call me sloth. The way you said it, I heard Among Us. My ears don't deceive me. Sloth. Sloth. But we will continue this in a couple more minutes. I'm gonna take a small break to the restroom. I will BRB for a couple of minutes. Take this time to stretch, get some water. We'll return with more Great Ace Attorney in just a bit. Be right back. I'm back. How's everybody doing so far? Everybody enjoying their time so far? Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday tonight so far. Hope everybody's having a good time. Alright. Let's get back into the game, shall we? Alright, so now that we're all done here, let's see. The prison governor's office at Barclay Prison. Who's excited to go to prison? Susato is. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. And then I was pushed out. What the flip is that clock? Why is it a guillotine clock? Also, can I cross-examine the bird? I want to cross-examine the bird and then find out what's up with this clock. There's so many things going on in this room right now. Oh. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can never remember the last time a civilian was doomed here. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me. Oh, goodness. Do you ken who I am? I'm the Governor Barry Caden. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean... Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes? Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be so direct, but... I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterners. Oh my gosh. Now get out of me here. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Isogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known. You're sniffing around about that case, aren't you? You're Agent A, part of the Professor's Great Web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get going with ya before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing sus about us. Governor Caden. What are you thinking, Miss Susato? I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned it might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. This guy is really weirding me out. Also, my freaking mustache hair is bothering me. Oh, look who it is. The suitcases. And dear old papa. That's Professor Mikotomo over there. That's Dunban over there. Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taking himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Haven't only just arrived in the country today? Goodness, he's full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before. About how you know the prison governor at Barclay Prison? Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man. Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were sus Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That'd be wonderful if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee? Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobos are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that your Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? Dang. Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. Oh, letter of recommendation, I believe. What's he writing on that piece of paper? On that piece of napkin? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. Hey, hopefully he'll be willing to talk to us now. Good luck then. And he sits back down. Okay, I got you now. But now we got our piece of paper. Let's go. And he's still standing there. It's very creepy. Here you go. Stuff it in your mouth. Did you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden? What's this then? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba? That young jock from the forensics lab? That Mikotoba? Yes, exactly, him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yunjin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato. Jinx, you're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think to mention that before? I do apologize. Well, you best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And didn't forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits. Those are freaking handcuff biscuits. They're so tiny, though. Wait, everything is tiny to him. This guy's gigantic. What the flip? He's freaking gigantic. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. So then, what can I do for you, hen? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? Oh my goodness, you're right. That is a Cramorant. Can we interrogate the Cramorant? That's right, it's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. I have nae heard anything of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh. But how can that be? Is Mr. Daily Vigil your chief warder? Vigil? That's right, his wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? I of course. But first, can I examine that bird, please? I never have expected to find a parrot in a prison. It must be the governor's pet. Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner. Let me out! Didn't kill me! Duh. Has the bird learned to mimic the plaintive cries of the inmates in the cells? Oh, no. He was one of the 3 siblings, you see. And he still calls out the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time. Right. Let me out! Didn't kill me! I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't do it? That's a weird way of calling things out. An axe and hunting rifle. And 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection. Ah, there's a story behind every one of those. You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon and the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast when it was arrested? I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruhodo. Not those kinds of stories, Jimmy. That axe was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree at my house. Mrs. Caden was not beast pleased. And the cuffs on the left are the ones I caught my first burglar with back when I was a bobby. The stories were a little different to those you imagined, I think, weren't they? Yes, to my relief and in some small way my disappointment. Not a four-legged beast. I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison, are they? Either that or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows. Oh dear, they all have such severe expressions I really couldn't deny either possibility. Especially the one on the extreme right. His expression goes beyond severe to a whole new territory. That one's me. Ah! I'm terribly sorry, sir. Is it a prerequisite of the job perhaps? Having a severe expression, I mean? Of course it's not, although it is taken into consideration. A lot. Severe expressions. Can I have one? I will look so dang sad that you think I'd be dying. That's a very large cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled Inmate Register, look! And all the files are in alphabetical order. That's 50 years worth of records of Barclay's inmates. Whether or no they left alive after serving their term. All the details about the crimes they committed are recorded in there like an epitaph, you might say. A record of crimes and punishments. How dispiriting. And yet, this man seems to be enjoying tea and biscuits as he talks about it. I mean, what's a better way to talk about it than with teas and biscuits? Teas and biscuits! This grandfather clock is fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down. It's modeled on the guillotine, a French execution device. You might have heard of it. And yes, before you ask, it can chop. Heads off, you mean? Heavens no, carrots and parsnips and so forth. Oh. If you place a large carrot at the bottom there in the morn, by evening you'll have been cut clean in two. Well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then. It takes that long to chop a flippin' carrot? That's forever. We understand that Mr. Vigil was the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Is this guy Canadian? Because he keeps saying aboot. The only other Canadian that I know of is the judge from the third game. The other judge from the third Trials and Tribulations. The Canadian judge. He says aboot. Sorry, did you say was? He does not work here anymore. He left the job. Oh my. When was this exactly? Here's a question. When was it about? It cannot have been much less than 10 years ago now. What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, as I mind it. Deacon, I have not heard the fella's name in all that time. There's a worry he's gone missing though. But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. Oh, boy. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of chief warder 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean, he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? That's our word for it in here. A walk to the gallows. An execution? Is the job of the chief warden to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. What did he do? I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for our chief warden to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't ken anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal? And what would that be, N? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry. I really am, but I'm no at liberty to answer that. I see. So it must be. If they're hiding something, it must be. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensics medicine. We seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Deacon? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Your father worked in the lab just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today. St. Sinners? That's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Mikotoba and I have used to ride in the couch together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. And we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. It takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Nasogi, I suppose. Well, I cannot tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment before you're away, Hen. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Great teleportation magic. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? It's no trouble at all. It's no the original mind. The harsh reprimand incurred by Mr. Vigil 10 years ago that resulted in him losing his job as chief warder of Barclay Prison. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Let's see, Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rates to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Reason for dismissal: aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict, the Professor, just prior to his execution. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Indications that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure info regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Okay. Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. Oh. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found about Mr. Visual. What will he tell Mrs. Visual, I wonder? We will find out when we get there right now. Mr. Sholmes, are you home? Mr. Sholmes, are you home? Are you in a dome? Are you probably eating a comb? Using a comb, yeah. Eating a comb. I'm trying to rhyme here. I stink at rhyming. We're back. Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I need to find something real quick. Can I just get this real quick? I need to find like a good image real quick. Hold on a second. I got it. This just popped in my head right now. Holy crap, why is it so huge? Ah, dang it. Fit to screen. Alright. Hopefully this is good enough. There we go. I found him. I found boyfriend in Great Ace Attorney. I finally found him. Greetings, my dear fellows. Beep. You returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Pray tell me, what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yeah, something very surprising in fact, though it's not a patch on your hair to be honest. It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that... Sholmes! Oh, Ginny. Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important. Gina? I can't Adam and Eve it. What's happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? The boss is... he's... What? He's dead? What? They just found his body, shot with a pistol. What? But, Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No, not Gregsy. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. No freaking way. What the heck? Were you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was... he was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him I become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny. So who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? They got him already. Already? They've caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Ooh, what awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. No way. If it turns out to be freaking Cosmo, I'm gonna scream. I still can't believe it myself. Gina? It was the Reaper. Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Von Zieks for it? That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shoot the boss. No, Lord Von Zieks? What the heck is going on here? Are you quite sure, Ms. Lestrade? It's Barrick Von Zieks the police have arrested? I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently. And when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. But there's no way Lord Von Zieks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. What happened in this case? Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come in all as soon as you can. You've gotta help. Seeing her sad like that makes me sad. What's up, Arthur? What the heck? What is going on? Why does episode 4 have to be this? It could have been anything else. Could have gone with freaking Sholmes' freaking silly hair color looks. Could have gone with the jokes, but now this though. Like, I freaking did this, and apparently it just turned into a 180 now. Are you joking me now? I had this joke and everything set up, and now it's just that. It's a detective's lot to appear whenever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson! Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later then. Inspector Gregson dead, and Lord Von Zieks arrested. Bruno, Susie, I've called you a hansom. It's waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Miss Usato? Yes. What the flip? I don't like where this is going now. What on earth is happening? Hello, Von Zieks. There he is, Lord Van Zieks behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Von Zieks! Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I like to be, with the last person on Earth I like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Von Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its info as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes, I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Von Zieks never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. This is a crazy twist of fate right here. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Von Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? We note that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately were arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Why doesn't anybody want to give us the info? Just give us the dang info. Just tell us and we'll help you. But then you're like, I'm not going to answer that and make it tough for us in court. Fantastic. Oh. After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer, though. Let me defend you. Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Von Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not! I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. And then Ryunosuke pulls out the largest barge pole ever. Wanna bet? But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of the killer more than I, however. It seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your stupid little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now. He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. He must be fun at parties, right? 2 seconds passed by. Well, it seems our conversation has run dry. Talking with a potential partner. It seems our conversation has run dry. During the wedding ceremony. It seems our conversation has run dry. Fun at parties, I guess. I was wondering, Lord Von Zieks, if you like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. It seems our conversation has run dry. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people, so I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer, however, I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But, please! I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Von Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Ew. Oh boy. Why did you have to take him away? Why? Why? What did he ever do to get killed for? Aww. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden, rented old room is where it happened then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, and you lot never gone over an ounce looking for a dough when the owners are out of town. Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that out of his and just scarpered. Oh, he finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right? Yes, why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to up that Reaper bloke, are ya? Oh, poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Von Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Otto, get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Alright, let's start looking around. What's all this here? What's all this then? This looks like some sort of notice board or something. And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, look! This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Oh, and this one here. Oh, the advertisement, you mean? To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. Interesting. Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Huh? What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are, look! Mr. Naruhodo, quickly! Oh. Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? I don't know, does she look familiar in any way? I don't know, can somebody tell me? Maybe she looked more familiar if she was wearing a familiar kind of hat. Oh! It's boyfriend! Of course she's familiar, we met her only this morning! Ah! It's Mrs. Vigil! This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either. Interesting. Is it only the photo that we can see? Okay, just the photo. So we can examine the frame, but there's nothing in the frame, I guess. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's right. It's one or the other. Let's see, what else we got here? A Bobby? Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right, perhaps I better leave you to your work then. Understandably so. This is presumably the murder weapon then. Oh my. It is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot. No! If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Oh boy. We just got a gun. Slip that in the old pocket. Let's examine the gun. What's this thing at the bottom? I suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Oh my, it is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. Perhaps someone more familiar with firearms could shed a little light on things here? Oh, what's the scene? You mean the scene about a certain somebody being dead? I need to know one thing. Can someone look in the chamber of the gun real quick? Just look in there. Can you just close one eye and just take a look inside and see what's inside? Can somebody just tell me what's in the inside of the gun? Just look away. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's safe, and nothing will happen if you do that. Toy? Oh, what's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Von Zieks playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way. I know. Why him, though? I was in shock for about a minute realizing who it was. Like, why? Why? The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody had enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun. Oh. What's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny though. It couldn't be a key for a door, not at that size. So what is it for, I wonder? The key, what? Does this look like a key? That looks like a hole. I can't believe that the police, they can't believe that thing just, wow, it came out of his bum. This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? You sure that's a key? It looks like a gun. Looks like it became a gun. Alright, so the wig. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! A bright red hairpiece. And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And it's such a flame-colored red too. Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. Fantastic, we got hair. Look at this beautiful wig. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? Bird lime? Where do you get limes from birds? So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope is later on the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. And would probably be under Dr. Siv's scalpel by now if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but... well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Susato-san is so strong, though. She's taken this far better than I am. I mean, it's already tough as it is. Excuse me. If you're looking for down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. That does suck. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, this wax splattered on the wall behind, look. I suppose if a bullet had hit it, it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh, now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. A candelabrum from the wall in the room on Fresno Street where the inspector was found dead. The top of one of the candles appears to have been blown off. Makes sense. Hey, Citrix, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, look at that. It got shot off. Ah, there's some black marks here, look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. Man. Poor Gregson. It makes me sad. Alright, so I guess we'll talk. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what? It's what, half a year since I got out the clink? That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead? Oh yeah, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as his apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case just like that. He did. Yep, and ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on are, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to the fella, were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He says something else to me and all, that I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people what are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. The crime scene. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some cove called Huge Bone. Huge Bone? Huge Boone. It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that is, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little ear, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Musato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. I think we did already. The Incidente. I see, that's where the poor inspector was found. Over there. Why? Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently, the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yeah, it's blown off one of the candles apart completely. And the gun used is there on the floor. Is the Reaper's in it? No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. they'll be getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads at the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. As usual. So let's see. Gina, what do you make of this? What is that, evidence? Work something out about what happened, have you? Oh, no, well, not exactly. I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet, but I swear I'm gonna get the person what did this to the boss. Oh, so that won't work. What about the figurine? Okay, so she knows nothing about that either. The gun? Oh, I guess nothing just works with her then. Oh wait, what about the framed photograph? Okay, nothing, I guess. I guess nothing just works with her. The candelabrum? Okay, so no evidence showing would work with her. Maybe if I show something specific. Wow, she really does not work with anything then. Okay. Maybe something about the Red-Headed League? Oh, that business? Yep, Inspector Lestrade here. Soon added that one buttoned up. I thought it was Mr. Sholmes who led that pair into a trap, wasn't it? Listen, Otto. It ain't easy going from East End diver to Scotland Yard detective, right? But anyway, it's all part of the charm, ain't it? Being a bit loose with the truth when it helps. That's wrong for so many reasons. Maybe I should get Iris to write stories about me. The Adventures of Inspector Lestrade. Oh, that was it. Cool. Let's see. Shall we visit somewhere else first? Ah, Chief Justice Office. I think we checked everything out here so far. Unless we need to go back. I think I checked out everything I could. Why is everything so dark now? We're in the Lord Chief Justice's office. Let's see what's up here. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Oh! Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. Kazuma-sama! Ah, your timing is impeccable! It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Von Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Von Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial's tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecute. You mean if I end up defending Lord Von Zieks, I have to go against him? Jeez. Wait, what? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? What? I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so, the public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped convictions subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Von Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have been proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true, or it has been at least, until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. You really laughed at a... Wait, what are you talking about? We watch you laugh, you lose number 10. You came here all out of nowhere just to say all of that. What is wrong? What is wrong with you guys? Hold on, they couldn't even hear me. What the heck was going on? Oh, no wonder they couldn't hear me. Hold on. Did you guys really just watch my You Laugh You Lose to come into my Twitch stream just to tell me that, Nathan?
You laughed at Among Us. You laughed at Among Us.
Why are you all just screaming that I laughed at Among Us?
Because we watched the whole video. You also laughed at...
Why are you bothering me about this? If you don't stop, I'm gonna spoil everything that happened in episode 4 of Great Ace Attorney Due to Dana right now.
Bear. Gotta already do that. We gotta do that.
I wasn't paying attention to those spoilers.
I will say all the spoilers right now. I look at the stream preview, it's freaking me. Are you really watching my You Laugh You Loses?
We did. We watched the whole entire thing.
Did you like it though?
Why'd you laugh at Among Us?
Why is that the only thing? Did you like the video? Yes or no? Give it a like.
Okay, I'll give it a like. We did watch the whole video though.
We did.
I gave
Your attention.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Did you like the video?
You were attention. You were retention, sorry.
Either way, I'll be back here later. I can't friggin' believe it. Why didn't Nathan do that? What the heck? A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Laughing at Among Us, though. Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It will all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented, quite exceptional in fact. You were quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It will be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't gonna end well, my friend. Oh, flip. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Von Zieks? That will be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct. It is certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim. No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Von Zieks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Von Zieks. Super grave, what the flip? Kazuma! I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. Right. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London, that's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. It doesn't look like we're gonna glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. But I don't want to be there. I want to be at the defense table. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Oh! Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh. I actually have a favor to ask. Which is... This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me. As the defense counsel. What? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Von Zieks would never put his faith in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Oh, that's Lord Von Zieks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. Look at him smile though. Look at that nervous smile he's got going on there. And who's the third person? Oh, is that his brother? It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? Oh, wow. So we're gonna learn some crazy things soon enough. I'm pretty sure we're gonna reach the end of this part real soon. Like, the next day in court is gonna be crazy. Lord Von Zieks is still reading that letter. We've been gone quite some time, though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insult in Nipponese. Wow. Oh, sorry, I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This is nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Asogi. Asogi? That made the color drain from his face. He's gonna be prosecuted by the son of the father that killed his brother. Wow, that's really dark. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. But first, let's talk about this photo, though. Lord Von Zieks, we came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. Gotcha. Hey Rush, how you doing? It had to be, really? Wow. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know? Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle. An insight into the true nature of this man's known to all as the Stone Cold Reaper of the Bailey. Alright, buddy, let's chat. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Oh, congrats on that, Rush. Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court? I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. The Nipponese bane. I had only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer, the so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the Professor case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? And of course, of all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred has festered inside of me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why now. Now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean? It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh. The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, if it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would have never been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed, and my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. Inspector Gregson. The gun. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh, I was issued with a revolver. I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. Like, oops, I lost my gun. Might as well not bring it up, I guess. You have something in common with Lord Von Zieks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, but that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Von Zieks. From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. Then my life is in your hands. Hey! Respect for Lord Von Zieks. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. And thus, to be continued next time. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. This has been a crazy development, but we will continue with the trial next time. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Thank you for coming to the stream tonight. If you haven't followed, please do for more streams like this. I'll probably be back tomorrow with another game. So until then, have a good night, enjoy your time, and I'll catch you next time. And of course, check out my YouTube and join the Discord if you haven't. Oi!